Hey, what's up, Uncle? Oh, what is this? Oh, hey, what's up, Uncle Jesse here on the Chelsea page. How are you, all my Chelsea people, family, friends, and fans, and everybody else out there, folks? Anyway, folks, I'm back again. First of all, I want to on this Chelsea page, I want to wish Spencer Tirado, a happy birthday today. I believe today's his birthday, and I think I know Spencer. I'm not sure if I'm putting the right face to the right name, but I think I know him. Anyway, he is a Chelsea or was a Chelsea resident, whatever, and we are wishing him a happy birthday today. So happy birthday, Spencer. With that said, folks, past couple of weeks, I've been doing these segments where I talk about places that were in Chelsea and no longer are in Chelsea. You know, stores and landmarks that we always remembered, and they're not there no longer. So anyway, so I'm going to switch around today. Switch around a little bit. First of all, I want to mention the picture that I put up on Ninth Avenue. It was a success. People went back and forth. They couldn't make up their mind where Jimmy's was, where the fish market was, where the pizza shop was, where the bank was, back and forth. Anyway, folks, that was fun. Like I said, I always say this is all for fun, folks. It's not to get into arguments with anybody or make fun of anybody. Some people's memories are better than others. I believe my long-term memory is good. My short-term, I don't know. I just ate dinner. I forgot what that was, but I remember my long-term memory, and I remember Ninth Avenue, and the way I remember it, maybe it could have changed, but the way I remember it in the 70s when I was old enough to remember it was the bank in the corner. Well, Jimmy's was in the corner. There was a French Cleaners. There was a fish market, the pawn shop that turned into the pizza shop, and then there was Lou's candy store, and there was a shoe guy. Then there was a TV repair shop, and there was another cleaning place, and there was a laundromat, and then Grant's Bar. That's the way I remember it. And then Jimmy's moved into where the French Cleaners was, and then there was a bank in the corner, whatever. Anyway, it was good. Everybody had their input in it, and that's what we're here for. Again, not to argue anything. That's what we were here for, to keep busy. So anyway, folks, that Ninth Avenue picture was a success. Let's see if we could. Let's remember a couple of places, folks. Another thing, people are telling me, why don't you, they send me messages. Why don't you talk about this one? Why don't you talk about it? There's so many people in Chelsea, that did an impact, left footprints behind that. I just don't remember too much. I'm not too good with names, and there's so many to mention. But if you write me a private message and you want me to mention them in my next segment, I will. But there are a lot, and we thank everybody from Chelsea who has left a landmark. And with that, on that topic, I want to bring back. I want to mention Mr. Johnston. Mr. Johnston was in charge. He was the creator of the Elliott Chelsea Nautical Cadets, which Whoopi Goldberg, as a picture I saw, Whoopi Goldberg was part of those cadets. And I don't remember too much. It was in the 60s, 70s. I don't remember too much about the cadet program. I was kind of young. But I remember that Mr. Johnston did a lot of stuff for the community. He kept the kids busy, gave them something to do in the summertime. He also had a candy store, I believe, in 420. That I remember, in the lobby of 420 on the side. I remember that much. And Mr. Johnston was very active in the neighborhood and well respected in the neighborhood and well known. And those people who grew up in that era remember Mr. Johnston. I truly remember who he was. My parents remember who he was. They talk about him often. But like I said, the cadet program, I'm not too much familiar with that. But if anybody, I know this is going to open up discussion about the cadets. But anyway, we remember Mr. Johnston today, and may he rest in peace. And thank you for what you did and left your footprints in Chelsea. With that said, there's a lot of people who left footprints in Chelsea. I want to take out a moment to thank the teachers of PS33. The teachers' aides, Mr. Levine, the principal, everybody who worked in that school left an imprint in the kids in Chelsea. It was the starting point. You went to PS33, Yesterday I put some pictures up for very early page, pictures of me in PS33, and that's what started it all, and I've met a lot of people in PS33 that were friends of mine and still are friends to this day that grew up in the neighborhood. And you guys know who you are. And we started out in PS33. Some of us went to I-70. Some people went to PS11. But PS33 was the starting point for us in that neighborhood. And I would just want to take a moment to thank the teachers and the principal and everybody else, school aides, and everybody else who had an input in our lives in Chelsea. So thank you, teachers of PS33. With that said, next to PS33, there was a health station, which is still there. And the park in front used to be called a bums park for years. Folks, I don't know. I'm not even going to get into that because I don't want to be criticized. But it was a lot of, back then we called them bums. Now you can't do that. Can't say that. But that health station was like a meat market. I mean, you went there to take out one tooth or something. You had a pain in your tooth. They yank out like 3 or 4 teeth, and they didn't know which one. It was crazy in those days, and they gave you shots with these big syringes, look like for horses, and all kinds of. I tell you, it's not only me. I've spoken to a lot of people who tell me, "Oh my God, that was a butcher shop." So I don't know where. I mean, I don't know how that health station is now. It's been there for many, 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 many years, but that health station was scary. It was scary to me. I'm pretty sure it was scary to you. So anyway, but we thank the people in that health station, butcher shop, or whatever you want to call it. While we're in that same area, I don't know if you guys remember in the summertime. I remember they used to do show films in the back of. They used to set up a projector out in the field in Chelsea Park, and they used to give out free. They used to show free movies in the summertime. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I remember the first time I seen the movie Born Free. Yeah, Born Free. I was with my sister watching it in that park in Chelsea Park. So do you guys remember the movies in the summertime? I do. Born Free. So folks, while we're in there, that same area, do you guys remember? You most likely remember the old Chelsea Park grandstands on 28th Street, on 28th and 10th. They were all big, these huge, big cement. I mean, this thing was like, it was made like against wall. It was gravel cemented together. I don't know how they tore this thing apart. They must have used dynamite, but it was hard. But people used to sit there to watch whatever was going on in the park or whatever. But I remember at nighttime, it started going crazy, and people used to go there. And I went there a couple of times, and we would sit there and drink our 40s, and people would smoke weed, and there was all kind of stuff going on right there in the grandstands. And when they redid Chelsea Park, they knocked it down. But I'm pretty sure that you guys have memories of those old grandstands, and you guys are going to make remarks about it. So do you remember the grandstands? Yeah. And while we're on the same topic, I just want to say, do you guys remember the Hudson Gill Nursery? I never went there, but my nephew, Jesse, went there. And I used to live right across the street. And I used to remember in the summertime, you used to hear the kids early in the morning, running around in that yard they had there. Man, good times when you see the innocence of kids just running around in circles with all that energy. It's a beautiful time to be that age and have that innocence. And it was great at the time. Me looking out the window, seeing the kids running around in circles, chase after each other. It was kind of fun. Now I see the kids and I go, Mamma mia, I don't want to see the kids. Anyway, do you guys remember the nursery? And let's thank the staff that worked in the nursery that put up with the kids and did a great job. Also, now let's go to the Hudson Gill, another landmark in Chelsea that's been serving the community for over 100 years. It was a community center. It had all kind of services there. They had a gym, they had a theater, they had a lot of stuff there. A lot of people worked there. A lot of people went there to get help. And I know my brother used to go there to the gym and play basketball, I think, or whatever it was. I don't know, but it's been serving the community for a very, very long time. I remember Dominic, that used to be the guy in charge of cleaning the place up and everything. Dominic. I remember, I forgot her name. God. But she also took care of the Hudson Gill, and she passed away. May she rest in peace. And the Hudson Gill has served the community for many, many long years, and we want to thank the staff of the Hudson Gill and Do you guys remember Hudson Gill? So let's thank the staff at Hudson Gill for all the services and their footsteps that they left and they've done for us and continue to do for us all the time. I remember when they used to rent out the second floor for parties, for weddings, and every time there was a fight after the wedding, this was my mother's entertainment. She used to look out the window with my sister, and they would see the fights as they came out. There was always fights outside Hudson Gill. It was always that every party ended up with a fight. I don't know what the hell was going on. Anyway, folks, so with that said, let's go across the street from the Hudson Gill. And you guys remember what we used to call the Whitey Park. Folks, it was called the Whitey Park for many, many years. I think they still mention it as the Whitey Park. But what's funny is that it really, people just said Whitey Park. It didn't really, to me, to a lot of, it just really didn't mean anything. It just, it wasn't said with malice. It wasn't said with any negative results. We grew up in Chelsea, and I think I speak, the truth here. We grew up in Chelsea. In a community where we were bonded together, everybody knew each other. My parents knew your parents knew my parents. Everybody was checks and balances. If I did something wrong, they would tell my parents, or my parents would tell. That's the way we grew up, and we grew up innocent. It was just I can't start to describe how it was in Chelsea, but we all grew up as a family. I think in those days, and. So we really didn't know about black and white and green and yellow and all those things. I never knew about none of those stuffs, and that's the way we grew up. We grew up with that innocence, and so calling it the Whitey Park was just the norm to us. At the Whitey Park, yeah, I'll be over there at the Whitey Park. So it wasn't said like like nowadays you say something's politically incorrect, but in those days it wasn't, and I'm pretty sure that everybody would agree with me that we all grew up together. We all had friends of different backgrounds, different colors, and their parents. And most of the people worked in Chelsea. Their parents worked. It was a working class community, and it was a great community. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't want to be raised in no other community. So anyway, folks, you remember the Whitey Park? I don't know if they call it the Whitey Park anymore, but that's the way it was. And yep. So now I'm going to mention, I mentioned last week, but we'll mention it again, Jimmy's, because on the topic that I showed a picture of Jimmy's, I have over 100 people who liked that picture and made comments. And Jimmy's was a Greek gentleman who started out on 24th Street, 9th Avenue, and then moved over to where it was a French Cleaners, and he took over and he put up his grocery store. And he must have been in the business for, got to be 40 to 50 years, because as long as I remember, Jimmy was there with his partner. He had a partner before that, and but Jimmy's was the neighborhood grocery store where he knew everybody. Everybody knew him. He was a tough guy. You couldn't go in there to fuck around. That's one thing. You could not go in there to Jimmy's to mess around. But he gave you the respect, and people respected him. He was, highly respected Jimmy. And to this day, people speak about Jimmy's grocery store. Hey, Jimmy's. And even when he retired, his son took over, and it was still called Jimmy's. And anyway, Jimmy definitely left a footprint in Chelsea neighborhood, and I hope you guys remember him. And you're not from Chelsea if you don't know Jimmy. So anyway, let's remember. On the topic of establishments, we go over to 10th Avenue, where there was a grocery store, a Puerto Rican old-style grocery store with wooden floors, refrigerator behind the counter, an old wooden crates to store the vegetables, one of those scissor jacks to close the store. They used to all fall apart. Bancho's. Yeah, folks. Bancho's grocery store. You're not from Chelsea if you don't know Pancho. Pancho, everybody knew Pancho. Pancho knew everybody. His family well known in the neighborhood, the Mendes family. But Pancho was a great guy. He was kind of, when I was a kid, he was kind of scary, like a scary old man. And then I grew up to get to know him, and I actually worked in there in that grocery store, helped them out and everything. With the old guys, we used to always hang out there, and everything was like our headquarters. And we had some great times in Pancho's. We really did, and I remember Pancho's all the time. We had some great times, and I got some great memories in Pancho's. and may he rest in peace, him and his wife. And his brother used to make the sandwiches. Nito, he's still around. He lives in Florida, and just great, a great guy who ran a business in the neighborhood, for the neighborhood. So, do you guys remember Pancho's? Okay, now let's go back up 25th Street, and there was a deli. Actually, there was a place that's no longer there, where the recreation center is. There used to be a parking lot. My father worked there part time, actually. It was a parking lot for many years, and it was, I believe, 2 buildings or 3, maybe 2 or 3. And people, want a building, people lived upstairs. But in the basement, and going down the stairs, there was a deli called Paul's. And I don't remember too much. Excuse me. I don't remember too much, but I remember Paul. I think he was from Argentina or something like that. And he made some great roast beef sandwiches, from what I remember. And so you guys remember Paul's. And let's see. I'm going to mention 2 people who've done impacts in the neighborhood. There was a gentleman that he used to work in London Terrace, and he opened up his own business on 9th Avenue between 22nd and 21st. It was a flat fix. And this was kind of weird because it was a flat fix in the middle of all these houses and stores and stuff. It was just, at the time, it was kind of strange. And his name was Ferdinand Draws. Ferdinand Draws was the proprietor. He was the owner of that flat fix, and he opened up, and he was a success. He was there for many, many years. He served the community for many years. I remember, I think I took my car there once or twice with my father, who had flats, and that was the place to fix flats. And there weren't too many places in those days. So Ferdinand was the first one who opened up one of those places in Chelsea, and we remember him. And thank you for your service, and thank you for leaving a landmark, footprint in Chelsea. Last but not least, I want to mention somebody brought it to my attention. This guy named Bayobel. Now, Bayobel in English means it's going to rain. Now, Bayobel worked for New York City Housing Authority for many years. He lived in 443 on the 3rd floor, I believe, 3rd or 4th floor. Everybody knew him. Everybody knew him. He used to actually clean the building 425, kept it spotless, kept it like it was his building. And the people in the tenants there used to call him Jerry, and they all loved Jerry. And but we knew him as Bayobel. He often came to my house to drink with my father, and he would leave. I was a kid. I used to see this guy staggering out of the door. I said, "How's he gonna get home?" My God. Anyway, and I don't know if you guys remember this, but I remember one time he had a station wagon, and his gas pedal got stuck on this newly rug that he had stuck, a mat that he had stuck in the front of the car. And the car actually backed up from the corner of 25th Street, crossed 9th Avenue, right to the other side of 9th Avenue and 25th, knocked over the mailbox that was there, knocked over a tree that belonged to the corpse, and then the station wagon tilted sideways, and he got out like nothing happened. He got out. He used to always wear a hat. When he was off, he wasn't working. He was always well dressed with a suit, and he came out like nothing. He climbed out, and he went to get a drink at Grant's Bar. Unbelievable. And the cops and everything arrived. This guy was, I don't know, but I remember that because the day before my father had borrowed his station wagon because somebody had stolen my father's car, and my father used the station wagon and stuff like that. So I always remember that. Bayobel, we know him as Bayobel, Jerry, and he left an imprint in that neighborhood. And may he rest in peace. He also was in charge, the last person in charge of the laundromat in 446. As far as I remember, when I was a kid, my mother used to go wash clothes there before she got a washing machine. And it was Mary Venecia that used to live next door to her. She took care of the washing machines. And then after that, I don't know if anybody else took over, but I remember when Bayobel took over the washing machines, because we used to go down there in the wintertime and play dominoes and play cards and drink and all that stuff down there. When we went in the park. So yeah, Bayobel. I put up a whole bunch of pictures yesterday of a whole bunch of my old friends. A little bit of history on that. In 1982, 83, I started hanging out with these old guys. I was fresh out of school. I was young, and I started hanging out with these guys. I always liked that, hanging out with the older crowd. These guys who had been friends of my father. Even some of them had drank with my father, friends of my father, and my father had already calmed down a bit, and I started hanging out with them. And I put up a lot of pictures of them Let me see if I remember some of them. AB and AB Matos, Angelo, Toñito, the Dominican, the Dominicano, Toño, Ponce, Paco Diaz, the porter from 264, Paco Gonzalez, who lived in 446 in my building, Bobby, who was my neighbor in 446. There's so many to mention, folks. There's so many. Daniel, who lived in 428 on the second floor. I believe his son was a cop. Tomas, Feyo, Juan Mercado, Mariano. There were so many of these guys. I hanged out with them. I was the youngest one in the crowd, and we used to always, we hanged out, we joked around. We sometimes we got into arguments. The old guys used to fight each other. The next day they were together. It was some great times. It was the greatest time of my life. It was in the 80s, and I was young, and I was hanging out with these old guys. I used to drink with them and do all kind of crazy stuff. I have stories that could keep you up all night. Yeah, folks. Rafi Zapata was another friend of ours that hanged out with us for a while. There were so many folks, so many people, and we had a big group. We had a big group of guys. Miguito, his brother had a restaurant. Anyway, folks, we had a lot of friends that, of course, throughout the years, they all started getting older and older. Erasmo, who used to run the numbers. So many people. Benito, who used to live in 446 on the first floor. And we used to always be together. They would always see us, if you guys remember, the backyard or the front yard, whatever people call it. We were always there in the summertime playing dominoes, drinking, and I used to have this big boom box. I used to bring down the boom box on the weekends, and we would drink and do whatever we had to do, and it was some great times. The 80s for me was a great times, and I hanged out with all these old guys, and I would never have no other way. And of course, they all started, getting sick and getting older and older and passing away. And unfortunately, a lot of them passed away. And but the guys still get together in the summertime. You see them playing dominoes. There's not too many of us left. Maybe 10 tops. Maybe some new people have joined the group. But all the original guys, some of them are still there. Thank God. Some of them are gone, and may they rest in peace. Because I think about them all the time. I mention about them all the time. Like I said, I have tons of pictures that I posted yesterday and today of people, of just some great moments that I had there. And these guys, I'm dying for all this thing to be over. I hope we can get together again this year in the summertime and hang out. I used to arrange, Toño and myself, we used to arrange a party for the Father's Day every year underneath the, what's today the High Line on 25th Street and 10th Avenue on Saturday and Sundays. It was kind of a dead neighborhood down that way. And it was quiet. Now they got galleries, they have the High Line. It's at Grand Central. But back then it was quiet. And we went down there to fix our cars. Nobody bothered us. The police wouldn't bother us. So on Father's Day, we used to go down there and we used to get like all this food. We used to get all this money together. And I used to go to Jersey and buy liquor and buy food. And I used to prepare stuff. And we used to come up and set up tables and chairs and stuff. And we used to have a party underneath what we used to call, what was the High Line, the bridge. And we had a nickname for it called a Paramount. I'll tell you that story one of these days. But that was like our nickname, our code name for, I'll see you down at the Paramount. And that's what we used to call it. And that's where we hanged out. And we had parties. And the reason we did that was in case it rained, we were covered. And also we had some kind of privacy down there on 25th Street. Nobody wanted to go down there. Once people went down there, but people from the neighborhood just left us alone, and it was just us. It was the group. It was the Domino Crew that a lot of you guys call us the Domino Crew. But I was the youngest one in the crowd, and not anymore. I think I caught up with a lot of these guys. But it was some fun times, folks. And once again, with that said, guys, I put up pictures. Once again, I put up pictures. With no malice, I don't put up pictures. I put up pictures, and I don't mean anything by it. I hope it doesn't offend anybody. And the reason I don't mention sometimes people is because I don't want to offend anybody. So I don't want to, unless you ask me about somebody or something, and then I'll tell you. Or if you tell me, oh, that's so and so, I say no, that's not so and so. I remember the picture, whatever it is, folks. It's sensitive. You can't go around mentioning people's names just like that. But if you want me mentioned, folks, send me a private message. I don't care. I'll mention your relatives, and I'll mention your father, whoever it is that hanged out with us, everything. But it's all, folks, to have a good time, especially nowadays that we're cooped in our apartments. And I do this for fun. I don't do it for anything else. I do it for fun. And I'll find some more pictures, and I'll put up some more pictures. But it's all for fun. I don't have the greatest memory, so if I forgot something, I forgot somebody. Excuse me. And that's all it is. It's all for fun. It's all for fun. And we had some great times in Chelsea. And I think everybody will agree with me that Chelsea, to me, was one of the best neighborhoods. I don't care. Everyone says, my neighborhood is better, yap, 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 yap. I don't care. I still say, their neighborhoods are good. There's other neighborhoods that are terrific. But I still think that Chelsea was the best. I live downtown now, and I live in a different neighborhood, and I've been down here for a while, and I know few people. And I've gotten together with the old guys again, and but it's not the same. It's not the same. Chelsea will always be my home. Chelsea will always be in my heart. I have a page on YouTube that I do walking tours called Chelsea in My Heart. If you want to go visit on YouTube. My parents are still living in Chelsea. They've lived in Chelsea since the 50s, so I still have a connection to Chelsea. They still live on 10th Avenue and 264. My father still drives. I don't know how, but he's 91. He's going to be 91 in August. My mother's 85, and they're just a couple together going. They drive me nuts, because my mother yesterday, she went to withdraw some money out of the bank, and she goes all the way across town to this bank that she only trusts, and it's the only branch, and there's a bank on 23rd and 10th, and she won't go to the bank. She goes to this bank where she's got to take a bus and go to 23rd Street and 29th Street somewhere in 5th Avenue. Oh my God, I can't even get into it. The other day she went all the way to Spanish Harlem, looked for a special mop that she needed. I don't know. I guess when people get older, they get like that. But anyway, folks, that's them, man. God bless them, and and thank God that I still have them around, and I can still talk about them. Anyway, folks, with that said, I hope I've never offended anybody. I hope everybody's having fun. Today is Friday. I'm going to have fun. I don't care. This pandemic is not going to stop me. It's going to take more than this to stop me. I'm going to go have a couple of beers in a few while. I'm going to pump the music. And that's what I do. Anyway, if I be in Chelsea, if it was, back in the 80s, we'd be in Chelsea hanging out on a nice day like this. Hanging out, drinking beers, drinking whiskey, rum, or whatever that we drank, doing whatever we did, never to mention that. And that's the way it is, folks. I love you guys, folks. I really do. I love my Chelsea family, my fans, my people. I met, I put up these pictures and stuff, and I started meeting people who I knew didn't know that much, or I didn't know. And it's great because people start, I think I remember you, and that's my father in that picture. And I said, yeah, that's your father. I was a friend of your father. I remember you. I don't remember you. And now, we've become more acquainted. And that's what it's all about. Getting to be acquainted with old people, with the older crowd of Chelsea, and meeting the new crowd of Chelsea. And, we're the historians. The older people are the ones who can really tell you about Chelsea. So anyway, folks, that's why it's fun. So let's not argue about where was what store was where, who was what. Let's have fun. Let's comment. Keep it real. Keep it nice. Keep it decent. And I love you guys. And God bless you guys. Wear your mask. Wear your mask. Okay. Wear your gloves. I have matching gloves, black. And use your hand sanitizer. 6 feet away, folks. I'm about to get a stick and walk around with a stick measuring 6 feet. Stay safe. Wash your hands often. If you find Lysol, I don't even know if they make that anymore. Spray it around. I spray my doorknobs and everything. I still have 3 bottles of Lysol left. And then I'm going to keep the empty bottles to put in the Smithsonian. And anyway, folks, love you guys once again. And I want to keep this. This is a long video. I want to keep it under 30 minutes. Anyway, folks, love you guys. Once again, keep it safe. Keep alive. Let's knock this pandemic out. Let's pray that this goes away. And let's get back to normal, whatever that is. And love you guys again. God bless you guys. Love Chelsea. Have a great weekend.